Is a disturbing the peace law a neutral time, place, and manner regulation? Disturbing the peace law may seem like a neutral time, place, and manner regulation, but if speech that causes public disturbances is restricted, then speech that is unpopular would be far more likely to be unprotected. The Fiener case exemplifies this because Irvin Fiener was arrested for his unpopular remarks that were upsetting a crowd. Instead of controlling the crowd, law enforcement chose to prevent violence by arresting the speaker instead. Unpopular remarks will be more likely to upset or anger a crowd based off their nature, but why should other people's reactions dictate which speech is allowed and not allowed to be expressed? Do you agree with Justice Black and Fiener that police should arrest those that threaten a speaker espousing an unpopular viewpoint, not the speaker, even when he rejects requests to end his speech? I would agree with Justice Black that the police should be arresting those that act in violence or threaten harm. People should have the right to express their viewpoints or opinions, even if those opinions might anger others. It's on the listener to decide whether or not to control their emotions. Hearing an opinion or a viewpoint that you don't agree with should never result in threats or violence, and if an individual chooses to respond in that manner, then it is on them and they should be arrested rather than the speaker. If anything, does Fiener suggest about how audience heckling of a speaker should be handled? Is heckling, at least in a traditional public forum, a First Amendment right? Does it depend on the nature of heckling? Fiener does suggest that heckling in response to a speaker is protected depending on the nature of the heckling. Merely expressing disagreement is okay, but a crowd breaks out in violence, then protecting the peace or public safety must be prioritized. If heckling leads to or incites violence or threatens public safety, it can be restricted. In Fiener, the heckling was seen as potentially inciting a breach of peace, which then justified police intervention, but the intervention should have been directed at those partaking in the violence rather than Irving Fiener himself.